All right, here we go for the men's singles final. Jimmy Butler, far side. Kunal Chodri, near side. Best of 7. So Corey, coming into this match, Jimmy in his semifinal victory over Mark Kaczynski really changed the tempo and the rhythm of the game. On the other hand, Kunal Chodri against Han Shao played a little bit more relaxed, forced Han out of his game some. What are your thoughts coming into this?
I think he's going to probably do a little bit more of the same. Kunal it doesn't look like he's got nerves so far, but I think he's going to try to force Kunal into some easy mistakes. Jimmy's going to try to block him because Kunal will go off the table, which is a benefit for Jimmy, because then Jimmy's going to be able to block him around, because Kunal, similar to Mark, doesn't have great feet. So I think Jimmy, again, he's going to have to stay up to the table
if Jimmy
and
can
play
stay
the
up,
angles.
Yeah, staying up to the table will really put so much more pressure on Chodri. And one of Kunal's doubles partner, Kanak Ja, has given Butler quite a difficult run in the last couple matches, so I'm wondering if Kanak will have given any advice on how to deal with Butler's serve and where to play that first ball to.
Yeah, he can give him some advice, but the problem with Kunal is he doesn't have the feet that Kanak does.
That's really
so
true.
So Kanak can get himself into position and get the shots that he wants, and I'm not sure Kunal's going to be able to do that same thing.
See, this is where Jimmy's going to be in difficulty here.
Yeah,
he might have gotten that. Nope, that went long.
But Jimmy's got to stay out of that because Kunal is a shot maker, and if you give him a bunch of time, he can make some really good shots.
Oh, great block off the edge of the paddle. Yes! And Butler ties it back up at 4 apiece. Jimmy realizes the significance of each and every point in this final. He does not want to play one extra point if necessary. But I do think, Corey, the key will be, can he stay up to the table and actually force his attacks on Kunal and move the ball around?
Kunal there, sorry. Kunal's going to have to turn on that ball and take a forehand. That ball is really weak. Jimmy just kind of lifted it up a little bit. Yeah, he should turn and just crank that thing. Yeah, that's a really good ball. That's the same thing he should have done with that weak opening by Jimmy. And I'm really impressed with Kunal so far. Being a young guy, never been here before, doesn't seem to be all that nervous.
Well, he has the same temperament in Mark Kaczynski, where he just really takes his time. He doesn't get too excited.
As far as to keep a young player calm, I don't think there's anybody better in the corner than Coach Zhenshi Lee.
You know, as Mike Meyer asked him the strategy questions, you could see he wanted to just focus on his player and get him mentally calm, realizing that if he just does this thing, he'll have a chance to win. Butler with so much experience.
Yeah, and Kunal's actually ahead in the points in this game. Jimmy's got the 2-point lead, and he got the edge of the paddle one, and he got an edge there. Those 2 points are the difference maker right now in this game. Oh, that's a great backhand there by Jimmy.
Jimmy extended fully to get that one. Kunal still had a chance to put it on the table, but so difficult, the change in pace from topspin loops.
And the change in the spin.
Yeah, it just cracks it so flat.
And look for Kunal to try to get the ball out wide to Jimmy's forehand after a couple of those rallies on the backhand side.
Jimmy's going to have to do something different than float back and let the topspin balls drive him out to his forehand side. Almost be better just smashing one of those and going for something instead of getting into a counter looping rally. Oh, got a break there.
Yeah, big break. Kunal went for a little bit too much on that ball. Doesn't need to.
I was just
Forehand to forehand, I like his chances.
Yeah, just have to add a little bit more topspin. Don't try to cut the angle. Not going to beat Jimmy going wide to his forehand, but by adding more topspin.
Uncharacteristic miss there by Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy, excellent play, getting back up to the table, taking the counter looping advantage away from Chodri. Rushed up. Chodri was pointing to his paddle to signify that Jimmy might have hit it off the edge, but that's part of the game. You gotta play the rally regardless of where it hits on your opponent's racket. Jimmy needed that one. He's reminding himself just to calm down. We'll have a little bit of a towel break here to collect his thoughts. You can see him running through his mind. This last shot, backhand just caught the top, reminding him, next point. Chodri with the serve, trailing 8-10.
Jimmy reaching a little bit on that backhand. Kunal taking a little bit of pace off that backhand. Got Jimmy to reach for it.
And Butler takes game number one with a strong backhand opening loop that catches the edge of the racket of Kunal Chodri. So Butler's on the board first, 11-9. Here you see that heavy backhand opening, top of the bounce. Victor Sabone in the corner. Jimmy Butler, exactly where he wants to be after game one. You can see the excitement in Victor's hands, just explaining to Jimmy what he needs to do. Quick little backhand lift up. Ball flies out. Game one to Jimmy Butler.
About to enter our second game. Kunal, the number 9 seed, who's representing the World Champions Table Tennis Academy. 2013, he's a U.S. World Junior and Cadet team. And in 12, he got the U.S. Junior Boys Champion.
Corey, we saw in that end of the first game just how much experience Butler has really locking things down, not giving an inch, forcing Kunal to make a quality counterattack from a difficult position.
From Kunal's perspective, Sean, he's going to have to find a way to get his forehand into play, preferably to the Butler forehand.
Now, Chodri showing a little bit of frustration there.
Yeah, it looks like Jimmy got a net ball there. Nice little change of pace backhand there by Jimmy. Took a little bit of pace off the ball, and you can see Kunal was way out in front of that one.
So far, Corey, when we saw Butler play his quarterfinal match against Chance Friend and then against Hazinski, really a master of taking pace off the ball, giving the opponent nothing to work with, relying a lot of, not unforced errors, but forcing them, making them make the mistakes off of his change of tempo. Oh, went for a big backhand crack there. I think it'd be better for Jim to take maybe a quick step up to the table, block it off the bounce.
Yeah. And that ball was dropped a little bit too far to be able to pound that one, but that's Jimmy's shot, and he's going to live and die with that one.
Yes. 1-3. Right.
Again, these are the points. Got a 2-point lead, and if Jimmy can break Chodri on one of these, that was just too soft of a forehand block there by Butler. He's going to have to risk doing a little bit more. We saw that in the semifinal where he made a couple of strong reloops. Ooh, and that backhand, he wanted that. But I think those are the right shots for him to take. He has to, when a ball pops up a little bit, do anything that will allow him to have a direct winner.
This is the most animated we've seen Jimmy.
Yeah, you can see every single point he realizes. That's trouble. I think he should go ahead and hit that first backhand. Even if he hits it soft, or take some spin off of it, because Chodri's so great at returning topspin.
And the problem if Jimmy backs off the table is you don't have as many options of being able to take the pace off the ball when you're back there.
Really tough.
No hesitation,
Yeah.
Sean.
Really tough for Butler to counter punch stepping away from the ball.
Let serve. Kunal's serves have really good placement on it. Jimmy thought that ball was coming out there. Looked to try to play offensive. That's where the play Kunal needs to do is play a couple backhands, step around, and pow.
Oh, lucky break there.
That was the first time I saw Kunal get a little bit nervous. Usually he's very good in those kinds of rallies, and he can just keep attacking with the forehand side. It looks like he just kind of, the net saved him and kind of bailed him out of that one.
Again, Jimmy getting into the point with that small little backhand topspin flip, ready to block off of it or to add a little bit of pace. That's scary.
You gotta go out to the Kunal forehand with something better than that.
Yeah, that was just a slow roll that gave him.
I mean, it's the right idea to try to challenge Kunal's feet, but you gotta.
Better a deep dig to the forehand than a soft, just like that one. Just get it out there, but put something behind it. Don't float it. Butler with one more serve.
No spin on the ball. Don't put spin on the ball.
On my toss?
6-9.
You mean when I toss it?
Correct.
Again, Jimmy's sending that ball with a little more air into that one, and Kunal reached for it.
It's like a soft little 5 or 7 attack ball drill where Jim serves it, gets an opening, plays a control ball, tries to add a little more spin to it. Oh, and that ball, more top spin deep, almost like a half long serve.
It's like a mini kick serve, and
Jimmy stepped in when he could have probably hung back and actually gotten a forehand on it. So game point to Chodri. And that was quick and dirty there. Wow, just a quick 2 points at the end for all that work.
All right, we are all knotted up at one, Sean.
Right here, right now.
Right now, Kunal Chodri getting advice from world champion, former world champion Li Zhenxi, who in 1993 coached Jimmy in his last men's singles championship here against David Zhuang. So he's been on both sides of the Butler equation, trying to bring a junior to the podium, where Victor Sabona of the Houston Table Tennis Club is trying to encourage Jimmy just to get his offense going, control the tempo, get a lead.
Yeah, one thing Jimmy didn't do as much of that game is he's doing a lot of taking a lot of pace off the ball, but he didn't do the other side of it where he's adding pace to the ball. And doing both of them is when he's adding pace to the ball, that's what makes his soft ones more effective, Sean.
Game number 3, Jim Butler, third, 0-0.
All right, here's a best of 5 match now. They've split the first 2. Butler to serve. If Jimmy can get the first opening every single time and consistently move it around, I'm guessing that Chodri's going to have to move his feet to make some of these counterattacks. There's the inside-out forehand. Once that ball gets a little bit above the net, Jimmy can drive through it.
Yeah, it looks like Jimmy's kind of settled himself down a little bit. He was maybe a little bit too amped up.
And again, these are the type of points that Jimmy is looking to steal early in the game, just to create a little bit of space between him and Chodri, so he doesn't have to worry about it getting into these counterattacking rallies where he definitely will be at a huge disadvantage. Oh, that's a powerful forehand loop by Kunal.
And even more impressive in the loop was the block off of the Jimmy Butler backhand. A really nice block there by Kunal. And then having the presence of mind after having that reflex block to turn and crank that forehand right at Jimmy's elbow. I really like to see Kunal. That ball has nothing on it. Kunal should just turn and crank on that ball.
And just
high
make sure,
and slow.
Yeah, and make sure when he turns to add a little bit extra spin so he's not guessing how much spin's on it. So he doesn't have to time it perfectly, but just drive through the ball and bring it down. Very similar to what Lily was doing. There, Jimmy's getting good jumps off the ball.
Yeah, the tables here have a really strong reaction to spin. You can watch this ball in the replay, how that ball jumped up like crazy. And
Looked
that's
like
not
Kunal
as much
had
what
it under
Jimmy's
control.
doing. There's not, yeah, that's a function a little bit of the conditions here in Las Vegas.
Great misdirection by Butler. Kunal's got to know when he's got Jimmy in the backhand corner and Jimmy's using his forehand, he's always going to take it cross court. Just a much nicer angle.
And that's some of the tactics that you'd think that Kunal would let him, or Kanak would let Kunal in on. I know when I'm playing somebody, Sean, that's one of the things I like to know is, and I like to know about their serves, their receives, and if they get a sitter, where do they like to take it? Because sometimes when you have to guess, if you kind of have that knowledge
you can just
ahead
hang
of
for a
time,
while
you can
before
hang,
you
yeah.
guess.
Because if you can guess right a couple times, you can make your opponent second guess themselves.
They'll tend to overhit. And again, Butler's serving very well into those discomfort zones. Kunal just lifting the ball up on side top.
Yeah.
He's got to put more spin to bring it down.
And you got to drive over the top of the ball.
7-2.
Saw the difference of how when Jimmy saw the net, he just pushed it back over, didn't grab it. That's a very smart shot. Ball was high, not much on it, but instead of looping over it and getting into an exchange, Jimmy went ahead and hit a flat hit ball.
You know, Sean, Jimmy's forehand off of underspin is much stronger than his forehand off of topspin, which is weird for such a tall player.
Yeah, Jimmy uses his arm a little more than his legs, and that's what Chodri needs to do. He needs to get into these exchanges where he can get topspin on the ball and push Jimmy off the table so he can start to own the angles. Oh, having trouble with Jimmy's little bit of a reverse backhand flip here. See, during the rally, Jimmy's side spin block counter. Kunal not reading the spin, just lifting up and off the end. Jimmy with a very strong and commanding 9-3 lead in game 3.
Jimmy got the ball he wanted there. Kunal gave him a soft spin. It sat up a little bit, just clipped the net and went out. Oh, what a shot. Jimmy had 2 backhand smacks in a row, and then Kunal came back with a counter backhand smash. And he stepped up, makes the hard one, missed the easy one.
So Butler takes game number 3 in convincing fashion, 11-4,
Jimmy Butler pulls ahead
with a mix of offense
This is the finals.
as well as well-placed balls into the middle, taking some tempo and some side spin off the ball.
I don't know why Kunal's not turning and using his forehand more, because Jimmy's not really pressuring his backhand. He's just kind of laying the ball in there, and Kunal keeps reaching for it, and that's why the ball keeps going off the edge of the table. And that's part of it is with nerves, Sean. When people get a little bit nervous, your tendency is to reach for the ball. The hardest thing to do is wait for the ball to come to you, especially on that backhand side.
That's absolutely the case. When you see where it's going, those hands beat the feet to the first movement, and then all of a sudden, you're at the end of your stroke and you have nothing left. Be interesting, Corey, if Chodri would just start serving out deep and going straight into the exchanges with Jimmy. I know that Jimmy's got that backhand side spin block that he could pull it out to the forehand, but I can't imagine him wanting to go forehand loop.
Yeah, but Kunal's a heavy favorite. If Kunal's a heavy favorite each time he gets his forehand in the rally.
Game number 4, go to serve.
Kunal hasn't been taking his forehand to the backhand. He's been going down the line quite a bit, which is the right play.
Definitely, if you go to the backhand, there's a chance that Jimmy can come. There's
That's
it
the
out to
play.
the forehand.
That's the play. And you just need, on that play right there, if I'm Coach Zenshili, and there's nobody he'd rather get advice from less than me, I'm sure. That guy does not need my help. That is one thing that is for sure. But you just put that first point and rinse, wash, repeat. Get it out to Jimmy's forehand. He's just going to carry it back. He doesn't really sting a forehand from the forehand corner.
Left, 0-2. Left, 0-2.
Kunal much steadier this game, Sean, on the backhand. He's taking his time and letting the ball come to him. And all the players that Coach Lee coaches do that extremely well. They usually have they do a really good job of waiting for the ball, and then they can have options of what they want to do with that shot. And Kunal's doing a much better job of that this game. It's just hard to do under pressure when there's a lot of nerves involved.
Nice play by Jimmy on that last.
Yeah, same
Forehand
spot on
opening.
the forehand. Same spot, right?
Oh, Butler having trouble.
The reloop was awesome, and then he just kind of carried it back, and I think the swing of Jimmy was a little bit too long there, and he couldn't recover quick enough.
His body went through the ball. You can see here with the backhand block, and here's the forehand reloop, but just lifting up the left leg, not able to drive through. Jimmy's letting this game slip away a little bit, forcing his forehands.
Kunal almost in disbelief, didn't think that ball was going to, has no idea why he missed that one. He felt like he caught it pretty clean. Kunal's doing a much better job this game, Sean, of being a lot more active with his feet and not so much with his hands.
Heavy spin on that
he looked like
recovery.
he's settling down a little bit now. Kunal, the 7-2 lead.
I think Corey basically, because he's getting further into the point, not letting Jimmy move him around like on that point. Jimmy just goes wide out, wide to the forehand.
Yeah.
Kunal's got to make up his mind. He's either going to loop that strong, or he needs to just fish it back and let Jimmy either have to loop it or hit it.
Jimmy's doing a steady diet across court with the forehand, right? He doesn't go down the line really ever from the forehand side. He pretty much goes to the cross court, and from the backhand step around, he goes inside out.
Excellent extended rally there. And Kunal just taking his time, spinning it on the table.
Exactly, Sean. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, he's
Just
just taking his time, hitting a nice recovery shot. Almost uncharacteristic of Kunal. All tournament long, Kunal has been stepping into that backhand and just trying to murder it. And he's made a bunch of them, but very composed on that backhand. Really, really impressive to do that shot under really stressful circumstances.
That's the trouble with that shot, Corey. Jimmy can make that from the backhand corner. He just doesn't have the leverage to go down the line with it. See it here, just lifting up and
Like
just pulling his arm across.
He
There's no shoulder or body.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't get enough spin from the form on the wrist action.
Right, he'd have to be turned so sideways to actually get through the ball. Catching it early. And now Chodri 2 points away from evening up.
I like that Kunal is surviving some of those shots. He's not just, as soon as Jimmy gets him out of position, he's not just trying to create a shot. He's putting the ball back on the table and trying to get himself back in a position and work, and Jimmy just kind of kept him pinned down there.
Red, 9-4.
It's almost like who's ever on this side of the table, Sean, is starting to float the backhands long. It's like one side of the table is a little bit longer than the other, because Jimmy's lifting those balls long now, where Kunal, when he was over here, he was lifting that ball long. That's that backhand what I was talking about.
I mean, that's just so smooth to be able to drive through that ball.
Yeah.
Anyone else getting into a backhand-to-backhand exchange with Butler would be a slow death, but Chodri backhand spins one, takes his time if he's got to counter it. Then, I mean, almost like Kwa Win used to do, with the backhand loop, then a backhand rip.
Yeah, earlier today I was watching Kunal play his teammate Kanak Ja in one of the junior matches, and me and my doubles partner Alan Wong were warming up for our doubles final. We're watching them play a little bit, and we had like a conversation during one of their rallies. Their rallies were like 30 balls long, counter loops, back up to the table and doing some counter drives, some counter spins, a little lobbing, a little fishing, then a little reverse. So Kunal is clearly very comfortable and has the ability to rally, and we're seeing that here.
Yeah, it's almost like they're hitting at 50% power, and they're just keeping it in play, keeping the rally going, almost pinging for serve, over the net, over the net, over the net. And all of a sudden, once there's a loose ball, then Kunal just jump on top of it, and you see all of his weight transfer go right through the ball, whether it's a forehand or backhand side. So I think Jimmy still needs to stay up closer to the table to create some angle.
I think is what Jimmy's going to have to do now, Sean, is he's not going down the line with the wide forehand of Kunal at all. And that is where Kunal, the only time Jimmy's doing that is if he's in a position of kind of weakness, and he's not going down there with any quality to the wide forehand of Kunal. The one time he did with the serve return, he won the point, and so that's what I'd like to see some of Jimmy do, because that's going to open up Kunal's wide backhand as well. But Jimmy's a really good tactician. I'm sure he's going to employ some of those tactics here.
The thing is, he won't allow a losing tactic to continue after one shot. He'll quickly change. Oh, that was bad. Needed to lift that one, just kind of stuck his racket on it and blocked.
Yeah, it's almost like Kunal's giving Jimmy a dose of his own medicine, pushing him back and then sucking the pace off the ball.
That was a close serve.
That's a great let if you're a Jimmy Butler fan. I don't know how that serve made it over. A let, so we're going to do that serve again.
Jimmy got the ball to hit.
And he should go for that, Sean. That's not a... If I take that shot, everybody should go. That is just the worst shot selection ever, but that is Jimmy's trademark shot, and he needs to go for that shot. He just has to make it is all.
Oh, and that was a rushed backhand hit on that particular one, though. When Chodri is able to just overspin it, Jim needs to get up to the table and block him out to the backhand wide. Now he's forcing the ball, just uncharacteristically making some...
Yeah, this is what Jimmy did so well in the semifinal match against Szynski. Didn't give him anything, no miss, no easy errors, and he's giving him 2 easy errors this game. Wow, great serve. Oh, just kidding. The umpire called a let.
0-4.
Jimmy not happy with the call.
It's not going to be anything.
Well, I think Jimmy too wants to just take a break right now too. He's kind of all going up 4-0. I can't see from here if it's a let, whether it was or wasn't a let. Kunal called a let on the previous one where Jimmy missed the backhand, and I didn't think that was a let either. But it's, can you see by the replay?
It's so difficult to see on the
tough,
replay.
yeah.
But at least it wasn't a losing of the point. It's a replay, so. Jimmy got a break there. Chodri had the open court. Butler needs to stay up to the table, try to move his opponent around. Jesus. Power backhands back and forth.
World-class backhands from the World Champion Table Tennis Academy, Sean.
Here, Butler with a nice loop. Chodri going to the backhand crack by Butler. Another backhand crack that Chodri is able to get back, and then here comes a huge backhand loop to the open court. Power play from the youngster. And Butler with a very strong pickup off of a half-long serve. Kept a little bit of the side spin still on the ball.
The net that Kunal got there, it took just enough pace off the ball to make the ball kind of die out in front of Jimmy, forcing him to lift it off the end there. 6-2, Jimmy wants to find a way to kind of claws way back into this game.
Butler dodged a bullet there.
He dodged a bullet. That's a 90-10 point right there. Kunal's going to win 90 for every 10 he loses.
Chodri had the ball he was looking for. He got a couple of exchanges there.
Jimmy did
then
a nice job,
jumped
though,
to the
Sean,
step
again.
around, made a loop, then a backhand loop, another control before going for the big ball down the line that just trails off the end.
He didn't get up to that ball enough.
And Butler with a quick forehand off the bounce.
And here we go, like we were saying there, Sean. He clawed his way back into this 6-4 to keep the pressure on Kunal. Important to not let him start to swing freely without any scoreboard pressure on him. He gets a 4-point lead late in the game. He's a little bit freed up. That's dangerous.
Excellent play by Butler, just hanging on top of the table, able to turn those counter rallies into more of a block and angled position. 1 loop, 2 loop, and then quickly jumping up to the table, moving the ball around before pounding it down the line, and then keeping the presence to keep it onto the table one more time to bring himself back within 1 point at 6-5. Oh, he wanted
that's
that ball.
the ball he wanted, Sean.
He had
Just missed it by a hair.
Nice forehand loop, mini off the bounce, setting up the backhand. If he can get those, he'll be making more than 75%, but he's got to hit through the ball.
Sean, you know who the most nervous person in this building is, I bet?
Sue Butler?
I was going to say Kunal's father.
Well, I think the two parents
Yeah,
on the right side. You've got both the Chodri family and the Butler family here, with Richard Butler being inducted into the Hall of Fame this past week, along with Scott cheering his brother on. Of course, all of World Champions Table Tennis Academy are looking for a U.S. singles champion.
Would be their first, right?
Definitely.
Kunal just looking to maintain that 2-point lead until his score says 11.
Oh, Butler able to win a point from the backcourt.
But Kunal's usually really good back there. He's topped a couple of those kind of slow balls that Jimmy's hitting to him.
Oh, and there's a timeout by Coach Li Zhen-Shi, wanting to make sure that nothing funny happens on this final serve.
That serve was a poor serve too by Kunal. That kind of got up and Jimmy wasn't ready to attack it, and he just played a percentage shot and got himself into the rally. You can cut the tension with a knife, Sean.
Butler's enjoying this chance to put his feet up. Has been trailing this entire game, just trying to claw his way back in. Can guarantee you if it's 8-all and he's got the serve, he will take it upon himself to score the points and not just keep it in play.
I'd love to know what Coach Lee told Kunal for the serve.
I would think he would just encourage him to get into a longer rally so that both players are off the tables and he can use his forehand.
I would have encouraged Kunal to keep getting his forehand to play.
A deep serve, and Jimmy with an edge ball off the
really
serve.
Fortunate.
That was such a surprise move.
Maybe that's what Coach Subban told Jimmy.
Be ready
throw an edge ball at him.
If you jam
Kunal almost returned it.
Yeah, I thought there was a slim chance it might touch the table because he hit it going forward. He didn't whiff or anything. But now 8-all with Butler serving.
What a return there by Kunal.
He no-paced Jimmy on that one.
Yeah, he no-paced the no-pacer. And the
Oh, Butler with a combination of backhand hits and forehand blocks.
You know what I was going to say, Sean, before that rally started is I think Kunal has missed more of Jimmy's soft backhands than when he stings it. Kunal has made every return off of the Jimmy Butler flat hit backhand.
Jimmy just hanging at the table, getting out of the way, throwing a mini forehand loop in, and then a backhand crack. Another block. Finally putting a backhand in. Kunal going long.
And you see what we saw there in that point, Sean, on a bigger scale, we saw Jimmy at the table. Now Jimmy Butler calling a timeout. I think he knows this game is really important. Everybody here obviously knows this game is really important. But I think he wants to just stop and think and get a clear idea on how he wants to receive Kunal's serve. I wonder if Kunal might think about throwing another long serve because he did catch Jimmy. Jimmy just got lucky and got an edge ball on him last time he threw the long serve at him. But I don't think so. I think Kunal's going to serve something short to the forehand, let Jimmy push out and kind of get into a rally. And I think that's what Jimmy's going to do on the receive is just try to make it so he'll let Kunal open. He just doesn't want Kunal to open strong.
Yeah, I'm completely speechless to think of what Jimmy's going to do off the serve. If Kunal decides to get into extended rally, he's going to have to work his way into it. If he wants to go into something fast and he serves fast, he's got to be careful. Jimmy might use the pace of the serve to actually put the ball wide out to the forehand. Looks like Jimmy's coach is giving him some advice on what to do on the variety of options
and I
coming
think the reason Jimmy called a timeout here is I think he called a timeout like this yesterday when he was playing his quarterfinal match. And the only reason I think he called the timeout is he wanted to come back to the table with a clear idea of what he wanted to do. Because he was like it looked like he was going back and forth in his head, like what does he want to do, and he wants to be really decisive.
Oh, what a backhand kill down the line.
Speaking of decisive, there was no hesitation in that backhand
That was
kill.
vintage 1995. Butler pounding a backhand. Oh, Chodri caught Butler on the forehand side, blocking with the racket tip up. No stroke there.
2-2, 10-10, man. Men's national final. I love it.
Old guard versus the young gun.
Yep.
Butler with the serve. Another combination by Butler. Nice forehand loop to the backhand side. Butler getting his classic backhand in here, re-loop off the side, then bang the backhand again. Forcing the action. Butler putting insane pressure on Chodri with his backhand.
He overran that ball.
Overran it.
Yep.
He had the loop. Only problem was it was about an inch away from his body
He had it.
as he played him out wide to the forehand with the
And
reverse
that's the play
backhand.
Kunal needs to keep doing if Kunal wants to sneak away with this game. That's how he's going to do it. That
Butler-
Jimmy's flat hit back, and he hasn't missed one of those in like 10 minutes.
Jimmy is playing this as if it was the 7th game right now.
At least everybody agrees it's a let on
But
that.
you can see the experience with Jimmy on that point. Lifted up, raised his hand. We saw Chodri lose to Sharon Algetti by catching the ball. Having the umpire say, no, I didn't think so.
Yeah, that's part of the sportsmanship part of things.
And Butler with a very strong serve, short to the forehand. Chodri not quite stepping in far enough to get under the ball. Still reaching for it. Butler taking his time.
It's one of the most beautiful things to see when you're in a tight match is somebody push your serve into the net. Oh, went in right into the middle, Sean.
And heavy topspin, which gave Jimmy nothing to work with.
Jimmy, I would like to see him go after one of those balls, Sean. When he's got, especially when he's got the ad, he's almost like he's playing the rally, hoping Kunal misses instead of going after it.
I think the way we've seen Jimmy play a couple of his last forehands, just really arm only. So I don't see him actually stepping and putting a forehand in there in his backhand. If he steps over, it's got to really just paint the white line, because otherwise it's going to come back to an open court on the backhand side. But he's got the serve, 12-12. Again,
Same serve.
serving the ball.
No
and
idea why he tried returning that ball with his backhand.
There's no angle to return that with his
No,
backhand.
not at all. And he didn't even step in right. He completely lunged at it with his hands.
I don't know if Jimmy caught him looking or...
I think it fooled him. That's the ball, though. That's the play Jimmy needs to go for.
I think, Corey, if Jimmy blocks that ball, he just gets into a worse situation. Chodri then just spins
Coach Lee
it.
wishes he had another timeout.
And maybe they could both agree to 2 more. I think Jimmy would do the
Jimmy would
trade.
take it for sure. For different reasons, of course. Right to the middle, Sean.
Yep.
That's a veteran play there.
Yep.
A lot of the time you see a lot of these guys, they cream that ball right to a corner and somebody guesses correctly. But Jimmy, the veteran out there, takes the ball right to the middle.
Had that ball been returned, Jimmy would have been ready. All right, 13-14. And Butler with a quality defensive stance there to take game number 5, 15-13, and to be 1 game away from adding another singles title.
Coach Lee over there smiling and trying to get Kunal to keep his spirits up a little bit. And that's really smart. I mean, well, again,
Yeah.
Coach Zenji knows what he's doing.
Here, Butler with a nice backhand flip, a quality block, just staying close to the table, not doing anything crazy, but giving his opponent a chance to make a mistake.
The main difference, Sean, in that game was when the pressure got really hot, Jimmy made the right decisions. Jimmy stayed at the table and played his game. Kunal spun the ball softly to the Jimmy backhand, and that's not how we got the lead in the beginning of the game and stayed with it. He needs to take the ball out to the Jimmy Butler forehand because Jimmy's late moving out to the ball, and that's what's getting Jimmy off the table. You're not going to back Jimmy off the table with some soft backhands. That's the only way you can back Jimmy off the table is you have to get him out to the forehand side. Because off the backhand side, he's just so solid.
If Chodri is able to just push that ball to the deep edge of the table, he'll back Jimmy off and have a lot more time to do what he needs to, even if it's a soft, spinny backhand. Jimmy, at the same time, if he can stay up to the table, he can make those blocks without pace, giving Chodri really not much to work with.
He's got such a fine line of how high. He can't put too much air under those loops when he's off the table because Jimmy's out with his backhand and just pounding that backhand.
All right. Jimmy right now, I'm sure, is thinking point by point. where Kunal Chodri would love to play a little fast and streaky.
I'm rooting for 7 games, Sean.
I have a feeling we could get it. But every point Butler gets, he's just 1 point closer. This
On your screen it says 2-0 for Chodri, but the score's 1-1. That return has been giving Jimmy fits, Sean. He hit one of the, Kunal hit that same return the game before. That half long ball barely comes out.
Jimmy's got to be a lot closer if he's going to lift that up.
He's got to get his right knee under that ball.
That's a little bit of a reach, right shot, but he needs to step in maybe a half a step with each foot in order to get through it. Can't be making contact at full extension. That's a very
really
strong
nice loop.
We've seen that at
Good
least.
spot though. If you're Kunal, you got to make Jimmy hit that shot. That's just a good shot by Jimmy, and if he's going to keep making that, then good on him. But Kunal has to spend some time going to the forehand so that Jimmy can't just plant there on the backhand side.
That's some solid play by Chodri. Really patiently setting up the forehand. Excellent step around. Number of backhand controlled loops. Just keeping the pace on the ball. Butler doing everything he can to stay up, and then finally monster forehand down the line.
What a loop by Kunal. He did a really, really good job of getting good spin, but keeping the ball low to the net, not lifting up too much, because Jimmy's been pounding that ball, and that ball gets up a little bit higher. Indecisive on the return.
And these are the points right here. 5-3 with Chodri serving. He has to
That ball was
extend
coming
that
out.
lead. Otherwise, Butler's going to start going into prevent defense and just locking down. That's a classy backhand hit. Waited for it to come all the way out before he snapped through it.
Kunal needs to spend more time going serving to Jimmy's short forehand so that Jimmy can't flip it with the backhand.
Ready for a deep serve. Staying short.
That was stupid.
Yeah, there was no reason just to put that ball on the table.
Not at all.
Especially not to the backhand
No,
side.
and Jimmy was off the table. You got what you want, man. Just let it go. Hit it.
That same ball, if it had been about a foot and a half to the center,
Yeah.
Jimmy would have been lobbing it between
Yeah.
his legs.
Those are the little points, the missed return, the indecision on that ball.
Now Butler
that's
right
why
back
it's
into
tied,
this game.
5-5, yeah. That's smart.
Lucky, little bit of a lucky break there. I don't think
Yeah.
Jimmy read the amount of topspin that Chodri had on that ball. Butler's got to keep it close. He can't lose both points on his serve. There's the inside-out forehand.
Yeah, that was, even if Kunal would have guessed there, that ball was wide enough where Kunal wasn't going to get there anyway. Jimmy really got that ball wide. But you got to think, like, Kunal should be guessing there because Jimmy takes every ball from there to that location.
Jimmy opting to
That's
try
the
to force
spot.
the backhand.
That's the spot that Kunal needs to serve more to.
Oh, Butler showing some great footwork getting into that ball and then trying to do a little bit of a side spin. I'm not even sure what you would call that last ball. He tried to do that backhand side spin from the backcourt on this final smash here, where he added a little bit extra, and then
it's weird. He played that ball off the shortest lob of the whole point.
yeah, he tried to do a little
The short ones are the ones you can really pound.
abbreviated loop. Now trailing by 2.
Wow, what a forehand by Kunal.
Kunal just jumping on that ball wide out to the forehand side. There's going to be no block from over there. Jimmy Butler's going to have to reloop that ball. But great forehand drive. Butler wasn't able to even take a backswing on that ball. I think your wish, Corey, of going 7.
I don't know. Jimmy's found a way to claw back into all these games so far, Sean. I'm telling you, Kunal has missed more of Jimmy's slow backhands than fast ones. He has been
Faster
handling
the
that
ball.
Yeah.
Timing, no problem. He's using the
and those
pace.
hands. His hands are incredible. He's got a really good feel. Now I think we're going 7.
And we definitely will.
You're going to see a lot of that serve, Sean, in the next game, and then you're going to either see Kunal bust him deep, or you're going to see Jimmy have to return with the forehand. I think Jimmy's going to have to return that ball with the forehand side. He's not quick enough to get up and play that flip from the short forehand and then get back to the backhand side.
So now you can see Coach Lee Zhenshi much happier.
He was like that in the last changeover too. He's just trying to keep Kunal like, hey, it's not over, man. Let's just keep fighting. Nothing changes. We're just going to play well. We're going to play 1 point at a time and just keep playing well. And he's trying to keep Kunal kind of in the moment, not letting him think about
the significance of the match.
Or being down 3-2. Kunal was really down after losing that game because he did have Jimmy in his grasp in the 6th game and kind of let Jimmy away. But there, yeah, you can't pay enough money to have a coach like Zhenshi Lee in your corner, that's for sure.
I'm giving away a little Yola prize. 2 sheets of max.
No timeouts
rubber
left, so we'll be seeing this match go straight through without any breaks in the action.
159-3816. 159-3816.
Jimmy needs to start strong.
We've got some dancing in the crowd.
Butler will start the proceedings.
Game 7, here we go.
Coming down to 1 game. Can you make some noise for our finalists?
I want to make some noise right now, Sean, but I'm going to be in everybody's ear if I do.
This is as good as it gets in table tennis, people. Here we go.
Game number 7, Butler serve, 0-0.
This is the stuff you dream of when you're a kid, right? Game 7, national championship, finals. So calm, so cool. Beautiful loop,
controlled
nice spin.
opening. Nothing rushed, nothing forced.
Kunal playing a very, very mature match this match. Always choosing the right shot. Highlight reel, baby! Game 7, returns an edge ball, comes back. That guy Kunal played that point like he is a 30-year-old veteran out there as a professional player.
Butler had an edge of his racket, edge of the back table. Kunal able to return it. No one giving an inch in this final
You're
game.
right, Sean, the double edge went off the top of Jimmy's racket and the edge of the table. Wow.
Oh, Kunal with with the early three-point.
And we're going straight through, Sean. There's nowhere to go, no timeouts. You got to get back up to the table and keep going. Extremely impressed right now with Kunal Chodri and his being able to hold his nerves and perform.
And an edge on his side of the table. So Chodri with a very strong start at up 4-0 in Game 7. Butler just trying to get on the board right now. Very strong serve.
It's that same serve he was indecisive with in the last game. What a backhand down the line.
That looked like Crystal Wong's backhand over the table.
Yep.
Just Butler didn't have the footwork to
And
get
this
out
kid
there.
really has some sweet hands, Sean.
If I'm Chodri right now, I definitely start serving much more longer serves. Just
I gotta give him
challenge.
that underspin to Jimmy's forehand. That serve. Oh, that was topspin though.
Yeah.
That was topspin. He needs to go with the under because
Jimmy
Jimmy keeps moving over there.
Jimmy
He can't flip that ball if it's
Jimmy can
underspin.
create some insane angles with his backhand on the forehand side.
You gotta give him the underspin.
Here comes.
That's the underspin. Yep.
And there's Butler getting his loop going. Just seems back and forth. Both players, whoever's making that first loop, is having difficulty continuing it.
And when Jimmy got that net ball there in the middle of that rally, forcing Kunal into a little bit of a scramble mode.
It's almost like Kunal's always expecting a potential net ball because he's so soft with his hands.
Now it's Coach Lee who wishes he had a timeout in the first 4 or 5 points.
And if Jimmy's able to tie this up at 5, that'll be a little bit of a
huge advantage, Jimmy, if he ties it up at 5.
emotional victory to bring himself back into this game. Oh, wonderful play by Butler. Not rushing any of those shots, forcing a forehand in there.
Yeah, if I'm Kunal there, and if I want to just sit there and spin soft, right now I step back up to the table and play a soft block, then step back and go back.
But it would have forced Butler just to throw up a soft fishing return, and he could have turned on that ball.
Because this is just soft spinning kind of going on, really consistent and steady. But if either one of them would have went up and played a soft one.
Butler with a toe-to-toe battle.
Kunal was looking to turn at about 3 different points during that point. And he's got to be able to think of something else, right? And the other thing he has to do is what he did to get that 5-0 lead. Get the ball out to the Jimmy forehand. He should take the backhand, instead of going to Jimmy's backhand after 1 or 2, changing direction and going down the line. What a battle here.
Butler with another combination heavy push, and then the inside-out backhand block with side spin. If you're going to loop that ball, you've got to loop it down the line. There's not enough angle to get around the outside of the ball.
Jimmy taking the last 6 points in a row.
That was one deep push. If that didn't touch the white line, it was a millimeter in front of it. Just completely jammed Kunal. Unable to get the ball up and over the net. Oh, reached for that ball. Saw a ball that he liked. Went for just a tad too much. Lifted it out. Again, two critical serves for Chodri. Again, that side spin backhand block. Jimmy telling himself just to calm down. You can see after the heavy push, the upspin, and then the backhand around the outside of the ball. And Chodri's missing it off the side of the table. That where the spin's going, he's not even making an adjustment for the side spin.
Yeah, I think we kind of got him in the middle there.
Now Butler with 4 match points. Now calming himself down after again holding the table so well, forcing the forehand in. He's just reminding himself to calm it down. I've never seen Jimmy in the last 2 years of his comeback get so energized after a point, but this is the national championships he's going for. Trying to add a 4th crown. And that ball goes wide.
That would have been a way to finish it though, right, Sean, with the classic Jimmy Butler backhand?
Yeah. I really think Jimmy would be well served to try to get his forehand in and then follow with the backhand versus just getting into the exchanges. And this match is far from over. Chodri with the serve.
Well, it can't be that much far. That can't be that far, Sean. We don't have any games left.
Just see Chodri making quality forehand loops. These aren't loops just to hope to put the ball on the table. He's driving through the ball. He's got the serve. Let's see if Butler's able.
It would be a hell of a time to serve long. I don't think we're going to see it though.
And Butler's done it! Butler has won the 2014 National Singles Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kunal and your national champion, Jimmy Butler!
What a comeback! Not only in the 7th, but from injuries, making the world team, and now a big hug from Coach Victor Sabone and a bigger hug from brother Scott. The Butler has done it again, and there's Father Dick Butler, recent Hall of Fame inductee. Couldn't be more proud. Here we see the final point once again. Great serve, and Butler just can't believe himself. What a conclusion to a great competition here in Las Vegas. Hugs around the court for Jimmy Butler.
Please welcome Judy Horfrost
as we send it down.
President of Paddle Palace, to present the runner-up award for the Men's Open at the 2014 USATT National Championship to Kunal Chodri. Now, please welcome Richard Lee, President of YOLA North America, to present the 2014 Men's National Championship Trophy to your new national champion, your 2014 USATT Men's National Champion, Jimmy Butler! We want to thank everyone for coming, spending this week out in Vegas, checking out the finals on behalf of USATT, YOLA. We wish you all a safe trip home. Come out and party with our champions tonight. Big thanks and big congratulations to all of our participants, our women's semifinalists, finalists, and champions, and our men's semifinalists, finalists, and champions as well.